such a big grass carp, and the owner did not even notice. Haha, then I won't be polite. I will take it as an extra meal. The boss called me to work, but did not say what it was about. He just kept urging me to hurry over. That is all. So I rushed over and drove the excavator here in a hurry. Then he finally told me it was to dig a fish pond. First, do not do anything else. Start by piling up the mud on top. Build a very low retaining wall. Why make it so low? Mainly because that is what the owner wants. After the loose mud below is brought up, it needs to be leveled for him. So if we dig too deep or too high, it will be hard to work with later. I still have not gotten any clear information. For example, how to dig this fish pond or how deep it should be. Anyway, the owner just told me to handle it as I see fit. After thinking it over, I decided to dig just one layer for him. I think piling up the platform on top should be about enough. After digging along one edge completely, I moved the excavator forward a bit. Then I pushed the wet mud without water from this side inside. Listen up, everyone. There is actually a bit of technique to moving this wet mud. Look at the back of my excavator. Actually, when I made the first round, I was worried that the thin mud would not pile up, so we dug a bit deeper on purpose. That is why there is a groove here where the thin mud is piled. And I also thought about trying to pile up a little more mud each time I turn. So when I was turning, I also deliberately added a layer of subsoil underneath. This way, combining dry and wet soil makes it much easier to pile up the mud. What I mean to say is, every time you mix the mud, the working conditions are different. It is best to think more about the issues first, and then adapt flexibly to the situation on site. This way, the work becomes much easier for me, and the boss can't really find any faults. I made one round on the top, then I drove the excavator up and made another round inside. Down here is an old dam from before. This is old soil. I also decided to turn it over once more inside. While turning it over, I leveled it out at the same time, until all the soil is gathered under this foot. Then I step back while clearing it out, and move everything up. Okay, at this point, I have dug about 50 centimeters deep below, and cleaned it all up, making it perfectly flat. Next, I will start leveling the soil pile area. When so much mud is piled up together, and the area is so large and needs to be leveled, my approach here is to adapt to the situation. Wherever it is low and needs filling, I fill it. Slowly, carefully, and with a plan. I use up all the soil. In the end, you see it is perfectly level. Not too much, not too little. Okay, now let us start digging on the side with water. The owner said there are still a few grass carp inside. He asked me to dig a pit for him here, then fill it with water, so the remaining grass carp can survive in this pit. He did not say how many fish there are. I just made a rough estimate, and dug a pit 5 meters by 5 meters. I could not wait to drive the excavator over and start releasing the water, because usually, when it comes to this kind of destructive work, excavator operators are always eager to do it. No objections accepted here. Fellow operators will understand. It is done. It is done. All this water is flowing over. From what I can see, it is only about 20 centimeters deep on the surface. I did not even see a few fish jumping. I do not know if they will survive. Look, the boss just put on waders and went in, catching here and there. He only caught a couple. All right, let him take his time. Let us stand on the embankment and get some work done first. I am also surprised at how wide this embankment is. The excavator can move freely. So I just dug up all the mud I could reach at the foot of the embankment. Then I tossed it over onto the abandoned land. I was actually planning to build a retaining wall outside for him, but the owner said it was not necessary. He said all the land down there is his, so it is fine to dump it anywhere. To be honest, all the surrounding land belongs to the owner. The construction conditions for digging this kind of fish pond are actually really good, just as I was digging enthusiastically. Look, I suddenly found a grass carp here. The owner must have missed it while catching fish. Since he does not want it, I won't be polite. With a quick scoop, I dug it up and tossed it onto the embankment. At a glance, it looks to be about 4 or 5 gin. I quickly grabbed it and threw it up there. Extra meal today. Just look at the way I am running. You can probably feel how happy I am. I washed it to see how heavy it was, then borrowed a scale to weigh it. Exactly 5.5 gin. Let me tell you, friends, the grass carp here, besides eating grass, then we can only drink water. The quality of the meat is definitely top-notch. Trim it. Trim it. We have to trim it. Half will be marinated, half will be braised. All right, let us get back on track. On this side, The owner only wants the loose mud cleaned off. No need to dig deeper. But the mud here is not deep enough. So I would back up while leveling it out. At the same time, I would gather up the mud as I leveled it, then toss it outside. Basically with this bit of mud, I could dig it out in one go. And the embankment would be about done. The owner said it would not leak, so I did not make a big deal out of it. I just filled in the ruts where the excavator had just rolled over. I dug up some dry soil to fill them in. This step is not difficult, but you have to make sure to do it at a slight angle. Because only if the slope is steep enough will it not collapse easily. Once that is done, just back up and smooth out the bottom of the pond in one go. We have come to the final part of today, which is also a very important part. Come. Let me show you. The key is right here. A big hole that has been washed out by water. The owner said every time the fish pond is filled with water, this spot always makes a loud rushing sound. So I dug this corner in by this much for him. It was not until I dug this hole that I went to the fish pond and got some wet mud. But this mud was not runny. I just spread a thin layer and packed it down. Then I added another layer and packed it down again. After doing this about 5 or 6 times, I felt like it was almost done. Then I used the dry soil from the surface that I had dug up earlier. Restore this gap to how it looked before. Make it blend in with the shape of the whole embankment. Just keep working until it looks completely natural. Brush the slope that was just finished. This is the final result after everything's done. It took the boss a total of 10 hours. Guys, take a look and see if you think it is worth it. Life is getting better too. I finally got to taste this fish.